back to the YouTube channel of Pro Enzo Vids, and today is my New Zealand Warriors 2023 season preview. So I am halfway through these NRL 2023 season previews. Look, obviously it was Storm on Wednesday, and the Warriors game was the Warriors preview was supposed to be yesterday, but unfortunately, yeah, things got caught up with mine, and so couldn't do it. But I will be doing it today or this afternoon. And yeah, look, I'll just say this for a start. You know, it shapes up to be a very interesting type year for the Warriors. Like, they're a very intriguing type side, and you know, they can do some good things and they can do some bad things. Like, they're a very rocks and diamonds type side. That's the best way you can sum them up. They're a rocks and diamonds team. So we'll see if there's any more diamonds than rocks, but I don't know. That's what all Warriors fans would like to think, as it's their year apparently. But yeah, look, it'd be an interesting preview, I think, this one, and hope you all enjoy it. But before I do start, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts on the Warriors for 2023. I'd like to hear what you think about them coming to 2023. But yeah, as always, you know, just looking forward to getting to 3K very soon. Look, all the new subscribers and the new support's been fantastic so far. So hopefully from now till hopefully on the track to 3K, it continues to get better and better. So I do appreciate all the recent support. But without further ado, it's time to get into my Warriors 2023 season preview. On to my best 1 to 17 for the Warriors, in my opinion, that I'd pick. So at fullback, I would have Charles Cloxted. My wingers would be Daniel Lesniak and Marcelo Montoya. My centres would be Viliami Vailea, and the other one would be also Adam Pompey. My halves would be T. Mario Martin and Sean Johnson. My front row would be Adam Fanua-Blake and Bunty Afoa. And my hooker is Wade Egan. My back row pairing would be Mitch Barnett and Josh Curran, and lock Tohu Harris. Then off the bench, I'd have Dylan Walker, Marata Niukore, Jazz Tavaga, and probably the last player I'd have on my bench would be, it's hard to pick the Warriors, I'll tell ya, maybe that Tom Ale or Jackson Ford. Like, one of them I think would be in my team. Onto the club's strengths for 2023. So these are some of the strengths that I believe are for the Warriors in 2023. So look, I think with the Warriors, they've got a good sort of a good pack this year with Barnett, Fanua-Blake, Curran, Niukore, and I guess Dylan Walker, when he comes on, brings an impact in the middle that will help the leg drive and bring some impact in the middle of the field. But yeah, look, you know, obviously Wade Egan's a year older, and I think he's improving over time. So I think that their pack and Egan just getting better and better is going to help them going forward. You know, their back line could do a bit of work with their centre and wingers, but I do think that their pack, it will be an instrumental part onto why they play really well this year. But another factor for me is Team Mario Martin in the team with Sean Johnson. I do feel like that's a combination that can really click on their day. So I do think that's some of the strengths of the Warriors and the things that are going for that club in 2023. On to their weaknesses now, and their weaknesses for me are probably going to be, like I said before, centre, winger, sort of depth, because they don't have really that much. You know, I think Vailea and Adam Pompey would be their starting centres, but it's not the greatest, but with all due respect. But I mean, Brayden Williami played good in that Tigers trial. They've got Tane Tuapiki, who played well as well, that Tigers trial, so they've got a bit of depth there, but I don't know. I think their backs could be a little bit better in who they play there. I mean, if I was Warriors, I'd play Dylan Walker there in a heartbeat, but that probably won't happen. But yeah, look, I guess it's a bit of their depth in the backs, but just also their inconsistencies are weakness for me. And that's been a weakness for a long time now. So I do think the weaknesses in the inconsistency part need to be fixed in 2023. On to their best signing for 2023, and my best signing for them is tough because there's a lot of players that they've signed and all can do a great thing for the club this year. But I think the one that creates the most impact for me and will bring a vital role to that club is Mitch Barnett. And why I think Mitch Barnett? Because I think Mitch Barnett, you know, seeing what he did at Newcastle and how underrated and how untalked he was at Newcastle, it was disappointing, I thought, because he did a lot of good work. The only real press that came out of him was his tackle on Chris Smith last year, and you know, other than that, doesn't really get the accolades he deserves. So maybe going to the Warriors across the ditch, he might make a name for himself. But I don't know. The media are a bit funny with the Warriors, I guess. So I think, but I just think if he's in that forward pack with Josh Curran and Wade Egan, Fanua Blake, Afoa, then he should benefit with his form and how he can play around them guys. So I don't think it's that all nor bad. But yeah, I think he's their best signing in my opinion. Okay, on to their worst loss of 2023, and in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. It's gonna have to be Reece Walsh, because Walsh, look, ever since he joined the club in 2021 or mid 2021, he's been a real pocket rocket for them. Like, he's had some inconsistent moments, I get it, but the whole Warriors team was bad themselves, so you can't just put the blame onto Reece Walsh there. But look, seeing his quality and what he's already proven at such a young age, I do think it might be hard for the Warriors to process his loss, but I think now with Nickel Cloxton and Metcalf there to replace his position, I think they shouldn't worry too much now, but they did want to keep Walsh because they did see him as their future. But look, obviously family comes first, and his situation was probably a bit too much to move away from New Zealand, so it's fair enough. But yeah, he has to be their biggest loss in my opinion. Okay, on to my quick draw analysis for the Warriors in 2023. So round one, they play the Knights at Sky Stadium in Wellington, and yeah, look, obviously that's their sort of opener for the season at Wellington. Not a bad way, I guess. It was supposed to be at Mount Smart, but there's some concert going on around, or some event happening around that time, so that's why it's at Wellington. But their first 10 games are the Knights at Sky Stadium, round 2 the Roosters at Allianz, round 3 the Cowboys at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, round 4 the Bulldogs in Auckland, round 5 the Sharks at Cronulla, round 6 the Knights at McDonald Jones Stadium, round 7 the Cowboys at Mount Smart, round 8 the Storm at AAMI Park for the traditional Anzac Day match. Round 9, the Roosters at Mount Smart, and round 10 for the Magic round, it's them against the Panthers at Suncorp Stadium. So, look, it's a very tough sort of way, I guess, to start your opening 10 games of the season. They do play a fair few games in Mount Smart, but a lot of travelling between different places, like going to Sydney, round 2, and round 3 going to Townsville the next week. And then, a couple of weeks later, you go back to Sydney for the Sharks game in Cronulla. Then after that, Newcastle. So it's a very interesting sort of pattern of how they travel, because, they're travelling everywhere at the moment. So how they handle that will be interesting. But, yeah, it's not a bad, I guess, way to start your first 10 weeks. Their draw from round 11 to round 20 goes like this. So round 11, they play the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. Round 12's a bye. Round 13, they've got the Broncos at McLean Park in Napier, which is or Napier, however you say it. It's obviously a little place in New Zealand somewhere. Round 14, the Dolphins at Mount Smart. Round 15, the Raiders at GIO Stadium. Round 16, Dubai. Round 17, Dragons at Wynn Stadium. Round 18, Warriors against the Rabbitohs at Mount Smart. Round 19, Eagles at CommBank. And round 20, them against the Sharks at Mount Smart too. So a little bit more respectable, I think. I mean, obviously that period between the round 18 to round 20 where they play Souths, Eels and Sharks. I mean, Souths and Sharks is good in New Zealand, but in round 19 CommBank's a bit tough. But yeah, playing those 3 sides in a row will be very tough for the Warriors. So how they handle that, I'm not too sure, but that's the toughest period there, or one of them at least. But no, it's a bit more of a kind of sort of draw, or kind of sort of period, I think. They play a bit more games in New Zealand than the earlier rounds, so it's a bit better. Then from round 20 to round 27, it goes like this. So they take on, or actually no, just read out round 20, round 21 I mean. Warriors and Raiders at Mount Smart. Round 22 bye. Round 23, they take on Titans at Seabus Super Stadium. Round 24, Tigers at Waikato in Hamilton, or FMG Stadium. So Tigers home game, but they're taking it for the Warriors. Or they're hosting Warriors there as a home game. Round 25, Manly at Mount Smart. Round 26, Dragons at Mount Smart. And round 27, they play Broncos there. Dolphins at Suncorp. But yeah, that's not a bad period either. I do think that, they go to Queensland a couple of times, but honestly, not bad, I think, the draw overall. On to the player that has to step up the most, in my opinion, this year for the Warriors, and Yes, there's a few that I reckon can stand up and do a big thing, or has to do a big thing this year to make the Warriors successful. But I do think the player that has to step up the most is the one and only Sean Johnson, SJ. Look, this bloke obviously is getting older and obviously he's losing a bit more over time, but I do think he's still good enough to prove himself and go again for another big year. I do think there's that hunger and that eager to all that sort of idea that he can get back into best form, because he can. It's not impossible. I do see him playing really well this year. If, the forward pack clicks and you can play off the back of that. But yeah, SJ is getting a bit older, a bit more inconsistent, unfortunately. But look, he's still a champion player in my eyes, and I think it's not too late for him to turn it around. So I think if him and Murray and Martin click together in the halves, then yeah, it's gonna be some happy times for Warriors fans, I think. So Sean Johnson, without a doubt, is my player that has to step up the most for the Warriors this year. And on to my final prediction for the Warriors this year. I think that the Warriors do have a good side, and they could push for the top 8, because being back in New Zealand is going to be a massive advantage for them. So they'll definitely be competitive, I think, in some games. But I think with Webster as their new coach and obviously a lot of new combinations, I guess, again, I do think it might take a bit more time than what people think. So I have the Warriors finishing 13th, but could be a bit higher if they get things right. But anyways, everyone, that's my Warriors 2023 season preview. I know it's a bit rushed, I'm sorry, but look, I'm looking to make these a bit more minimal now, these season previews. So, yeah, please bear with me when I do do more in the future. But anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Watching this video right now, please be sure to subscribe. On the road to 3K subscribers. So, thank you to all the recent subscribers and the new support. Means a lot to myself and the YouTube channel. And yeah, again, comment your thoughts on the Warriors for this year, where you think they'll finish. But anyways, everyone, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.